I changed the screen quality to 720p because it's I mean like I had it like that before, so your E, I mean the damage is good. I'd say the so I mean E damage is good. I rate I rate the E change. I like it. Um, definitely good. The W is very questionable though. It I mean I don't have any lifesteal, but normally you wouldn't really need a huge amount of lifesteal. Like if you're running this build, normally I just like if I was going all out like this, I would grab a red pot. Um, if this is enough, maybe. I mean, obviously this is going to be enough. There's no way this all damages. So I mean, with a little bit of lifesteal, this seems to be working. That's 15% healing on the red pot. I also have fervor that factors in. So I now have 420 AD, 426 AD. Hmm. Recovering 30% of my health. Let's see how much that is at let's just quickly see how much this is at level 18. Because before you could get like you would get a fair amount of HP back when you revived the other passive. Hmm. I'm pretty sure that before you got like around half your HP back. I'm fairly certain that this is a bit less. I wouldn't say more burst, less DPS. Well, actually, no. It is the burst. I think will even out. Because they changed how his Q scales, so it's more important to actually land his Q. Like this is 110% AD, so like this damage, like this used to be 60% AD with like a 230 or 250 scaling. So if I had like 60% of my AD added on here, bonus AD, it'd be like 100 and what 30 or something. Um, so I'm pretty sure that you get like an extra 100 damage or so on your Q. Um, I mean, and you also don't have that cost on your Q, so you have more HP at the start of fights, and you know continue to retain more HP. E will be definitely doing more damage, so you that will also work with lethality. Mm. Actually, this will buff Rage. I see it mentioned in the chat. This will buff Rageblade Aatrox because you can keep W on all the time without losing any HP. So if we like, if hypothetically, like if we I assume that Riot wants you to kind of build in like health. So like if we kind of did a sort of juggernauty sort of, I don't know, like kind of like this maybe, some sort of juggernautish build like this. I have 3.5k HP. Holy shit, there's a bunch of minions here. Let me get rid of those. So I have 3.5k HP. This is healing for 5% of my missing HP. Let's test this under the towers with this health. Spawn enemy dummy. So let's just test this healing. I mean, I take no damage to begin with, so I actually need to go low. So when you have a bunch of HP, the heal becomes ridiculous. So with passive on, how does this turn out? I mean, it's some pretty good drain tanking, I have to say. I don't have Titanic though. Switch froze him out for Titanic, yeah. I mean, Hmm. Maybe there's like a, I don't know if there's gonna be a balance or what, like between tank and attack speed. Because with this build, it doesn't feel like you have enough attack speed. I mean, so with passive on, you get 1.8, and with ult on, you get 2.2. That's actually a fair amount for having only one attack speed item. Auto attacks don't. Hang on. I think Rage Blade is definitely viable, actually. Um, if we, if we get rid of Death Dance, no, yeah, get rid of Death Dance. I mean, yeah, whatever. This is the kind of I'm pretty sure this is the kind of build they want, the kind of health, build. As you can see, I'm losing no HP from I'm losing no health from my W because it doesn't have a cost anymore. And Death Dance is just Rage Blade will just keep you healed because it does give you the double proc. Yeah, Rage Blade proc makes your W proc twice, so you'll heal like 10% of your missing health every time W comes on. I mean, I'm still dying though. Like, I don't have any resistances. I need someone suggest like a build. Does anyone have an idea like of what kind of build this would work with best? Because I don't have any resistances here, but like this seems like the kind of best sort of team fighting build that I can come up with. I don't know, like that involves health and still enables you to do damage. I'm not really sure. I mean, your E won't do much damage at all without AD. Your Q has a good scaling. With no items, Q's doing rough. It has roughly the same base damage. Show you some moves. How does the passive active work? I mean, the passive active is just when you're in combat with a champion, like whenever you proc blood price or use an ability, you get 20% of your blood wall, and then when you stay in combat with a champion, your passive would normally fall off after 4 seconds if you're not attacking like this. See that? But if you keep attacking, or if you take damage from an enemy champion, your passive will stay on. That also applies to turrets. So if you want to maintain your passive, you can like dip into tower range and take a hit, and it will continue it. You do get this new animation for your your revive when it's up. I mean, that's health build. One of the best things about this build is that, well, one of the best things about this change is that if you actually okay, so if you have a spare visage, this will increase the heal on your passive. Like let's just, I don't know, say you're kind of off tankish, so you have a visage and a deadman's, and because of those we can get a Zerker's Greaves. I don't know. Ravenous for pushing? I honestly I don't know how this is gonna work. Like maybe something like this. Maybe something like this could be solid. It's really laggy, so it's gonna seem kind of delayed. Ult active. I mean, I need a target. Like, I need to fight another champion to see if this actually is good. Because I can't gather enough data off of these things, so maybe I'll go into a bot game or I'll actually try and play one. I do have, like, ridiculously high ping. No, they didn't change the base stats. They didn't. What I will do is I will see how much this this heals for one more time. What was I gonna do? Yeah. Oh, okay. The Q bug's still there. What? Man, is it right here? That's so weird. His Q seems like slower now. It's weird. Either that or it's the lag. I don't know. But let's just. I'll try Trinity in a second. So Bloodwell is active. Let's get into this tower now. Oh fuck. No. The lag. Okay, hang on. This has to be done very precisely. Oh, this lag is making it hard. Okay. Alright. So 30% of our HP with this build is roughly 1,200, and it's roughly 1,200 and something. So it's really similar to, like, when you have a health build, when you have around 3k health, you gain roughly around the same as you would with the old passive at level 18. But that's me with like 2 health items. So it's kind of, the revive is kind of nerfed, which is unfortunate because it kind of discourages like damage builds. Like the nerf on W kind of discourages it. If they change this from base AD to total AD, then DPS Aatrox might be possible still. But I think this base AD thing will hurt him more. What the base AD thing might, like, what it could potentially want you to do, like in terms of, you know, DPS, is actually by Triforce, because that bonus, that base AD will scale into Sheen, and it will also combine with Aatrox. So maybe still a bit of damage. Let's go. Let's just grab some more DPS and see. So one attack speed item. I think one attack speed item should be enough now with that passive. Like one, you know, 1 or 2, depending on whether or not you want to hit the attack speed cap. So 1.77, 2.6. I used to maintain like 2.3 something with 2 attack speed items and tabbies, like 2 zeal items and tabbies with my ult on, and my passive fully charged on the old Aatrox. So this is almost reaching that with only 1 attack speed item. It's not that bad, but you do need Blood Rush active to have that extra attack speed. I kind of feel like this is, the way that this is kind of turned out is, I mean, his abilities, his casting got buffed, his Q and his E got buffed, but his W took a really hard hit. I think Aatrox with this could be pretty good. Like, if we're looking at I mean, he's like right now I have 2 attack speed items and I'm at 2.45. So it is more than before, but I think my runes are also different. So I think it might be a bit higher. Hmm. It's hard to say. His consistent damage with W's down, and his healing's weird. I don't know how to describe this because this 90 like isn't enough. This falls off so hard. Um, but the plus 5% missing health does scale, but it's still pretty bad. Huh. I don't know. It looks, yeah, it's looking bruiserish. This isn't a diver. Divers have, I mean, unless his QE combo is gonna do that much more damage, I don't know if this is enough damage to actually make it like to make him actually able to kill someone in time. Like the issue I ran into before was that I had to kill someone fast and like this is why I build a crit. Like when you dive in as Aatrox, like you're gonna get CC'd, you're gonna get focused, you're gonna get peeled off. So the reason I build him crit is because like you can just two-shot someone, and the extra range helps you stay in range from your ult, and you have good base damages to burst. Um, I just, I don't know about this. His Q and E definitely have more damage, but like his W just doesn't feel as good as it could be, and his passive just like this AD buff that it gives, like it it feels like this should scale. You will definitely pop your blood rush. Like if you Q from zero, E someone ult on you only have to hit 3 targets. Um, I just I still don't know though. It seems like he doesn't do much more like outside of just Q like go like get on someone and try and kill them. It doesn't seem like he can actually like hugely threaten someone. You know what I mean? Um, like his blood maybe I don't know. This passive, I don't know if they can leave it like this. Maybe if they made this like Guardian Angel, where instead of where it was like the other amount, it chose between the other amount, like the larger amount between 30% of your health and the base health that it had before. That would be good because that would mean Tank Aatrox gets the 30% health, gets more regeneration off of his thing. While DPS Aatrox is still pretty good. I'll do the W heal. Um, I mean that's like 245, and I have okay. If I'm healing for 245 now, right? Compare that to the old value. Let me just check. Let me just do a little math. The old value is like it's 75% of your bonus AD. Right now we have 169 bonus AD. Um, so that's like okay. So the old one was 120 plus 75% bonus AD. So that's 120 plus 70% of 170. which is roughly like 140 something, 130 something. So you'd heal for like 260 before. They didn't address any of his issues really. Like his health costs before were pretty negligible. I mean I didn't care about them. I would walk around the map with like 90 to like pretty much 70% HP all the time. Like 80, around that area. Um and like they haven't touched his Q cooldown, so it still has the same issues before. I mean, I don't know how the animations changed because I don't use this skin that much, but I like the new sound effects. That's nice, and the crashing sound that it has. I like his E changes are definitely really good. I like the damage changes on that. This is perfect, but I feel like it should still do a little bit more. His E, I think his E has space for things. His Q needs that. His Q needs that displacement resistance. That like that have been mentioned like all the time essentially. Um, and his W needs a scaling on his heal. It needs an 80 scaling. Like they can't just get rid of that and then have him be an auto attacker because that's one of his bread and butters. Um, on every third attack, he does 150. I mean, 300 bonus damage is alright. Technically, this is doing 600 damage. And it costs you nothing. But I mean, before, you would cover the costs with lifesteal anyways. So if you think about it, before it didn't cost anything, and it did more damage. So now it doesn't cost anything and does less damage. Um, and his W heals for less. He wasn't broken before. Like who this will really affect? This I think this build will mainly benefit attack speed Aatrox builds, like the ones that go like essentially what Sweet Dreams does, where he goes like Bork and like Blood Razor and then just into straight tank. That'll help them. But this won't help like the Aatroxes that want to actually like. I mean, his Q and E they do physical damage. Like his E does physical damage now. The scaling's up a little bit, but I don't know if all the damage is there. I feel like with the W nerf and this not scaling, like if this scaled off total, if this was the total AD scaling for 20%, like how I thought it was, then I think it could be really strong, but it's not. So I don't think the revive window is really going to change much of anything. It'll make it easier to assassinate Aatrox, because he needs to be in combat for his passive to be up. Essentially. Maybe like should I remake this? Should I remake this game and try? Like, I can get the jungle item or something. Like I don't know. Um, if they made his W work with lifesteal, then I think maybe Jungle Aatrox is still alive. But I don't know. I'll give that a try. So let me just change this room page to something that I know because I think this was just a straight up attack speed page. Yeah. Disgusting. So this would be. Wait, how am I getting 20% attack speed off of this? Oh, attack speed seals. Ugh. So I didn't have any armor just now actually. So this should make a difference. I think you normally take like full attack speed into the jungle, so I will do that. And then the glyphs, probably scaling magic resist. Probably. I'll add a bot so I can have some damage. I'll add a not Nasus because he'll just W me. I'll add a Garen bot. There we go. Pretty sure you'd run like. Would you go Runic Affinity? I don't know which one you choose from that. Should be accurate. Let me unlock. Wait, I can't unlock a skin. Hang on. Get me out. Okay, I want to unlock Mecha because I know how that's supposed to look. You can't unlock it from here. Ugh. Dragon Sorceress Zara. I mean, wait, what did I just do? Did I just? Oh my god, did I just open the wrong thing? No, not the tutorial. Get out of here. No. Okay, just broke. Alright. I mean, there's no way I can play it on like an actual game on this server because it's like 180 ping. This thing broken. I just can't. Okay, I can't change that anymore. Whatever. Okay. I'm already in a game? What? Also, what's this? Oh yeah, tournament code. How? Okay. Something's wrong. I am somehow in a game. I'll relog and see. I think with these changes, crit Aatrox becomes a bit harder. I think the new passive is the new passive's attack speed or how does the new passive scale? If the new passive's attack speed starts at like maxed out early, then maybe you can still go like a sort of DPS Aatrox because you'll have that early attack speed bonus like how you had in like season 2 or like season 3 when he was released or whatever, like really early before they nerfed it. I need to pull up those changes. Give me that. No. Give me that. Shyvana. So all these masteries should be fine. That's about it. So his apparently his, oh my god, something went wrong. You need to hit 3 people with his ult. Well, actually, no, 2. If you get, 2 people with his ult. You get a free 20% whenever you W, so you can probably set it up. It's really easy to stack up off of like not even hitting champions. So yeah, the Q and the Q and E changers I'd say are better. Let's see how this goes. I'll just take whatever. Assuming you normally, I think Sweet Dreams he starts Q on Aatrox. So where do you start? You start at red?
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Oh, he started Q before for the passive. So now that we don't have to stack Bloodwell with Q, we can start W, I think.
Minions have spawned.
So let's try this, I guess. Let's just see how red goes. So let's say we're just doing like a full clear, like kind of a full clear. He has a lower cooldown, so hey, he can still get through the jungle. Yeah, his passive isn't. He can still jungle perfectly fine, apparently. Like, this works perfectly well. He's not gonna die. It's still just as strong so long as you take attack speed, I'd say, like, in terms of regeneration. Well, not just as strong, but like, actually it's a bit weaker. I'm slowly losing HP without kiting this thing. Hang on. Something I want to test is hang on. So save your jungling, and what you can do. Oh wait, hang on. Does this not fall off? Oh, it does fall off. So his passive falls off, even if you don't proc it. Okay. Zytoxin, the changes feel kind of they feel kind of meh. Like his laning, I think his laning will be a a bit better, but his scaling has taken a hit. I don't know why I'm walking through the jungle when I'm in practice tool either. This is only 20, like this is kind of nothing. Like 20% attack speed isn't really that much. Let's let's pretend I want to fight this Shyvana and see what happens. She's not attacking me though, so I don't know. Oops. I don't know. I feel like she might have still been able to kill me there. She didn't actually like keep attacking me. Before his only visual indicator on his passive was before the only visual indicator on his passive was his bar, and now gets the GA as well, so people can like. I mean, the Shyvana's a level up, and I was taking creep aggro, so it's not really that accurate. Blood Bowl generation seems slow. Um, it's not super slow because it's 20% probability, so it's like, but comparatively, before his Q right now, like his Q at like this level at level 1 would give him literally half of his Blood Bowl. Um, his Blood Bowl falls off really fast, as Green Machine's saying. Like you can't save the Blood Bowl stacks for a gank, so that kind of kills his power if you were intending on using the attack speed. So you gank with no attack speed because you can't hold on to the stacks. Um, when you're ganking, you're also vulnerable to just dying because if they one shot you and you don't get time, you don't have enough time to like build up your stacks. Your passive isn't going to be on. Um, what I want to see is if there's any difference whatsoever between his passive and GA. They changed. Hang on. I just want to see what they changed here. Like his indicators are different colors for each of his skins now. Before, I'm pretty sure that the indicator for the skin used to be orange, and the indicator for the Sea Hunter Aatrox was purple. The numbers aren't final. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess it is PBE. I'm the only things I need to test really are like whether or not they made any like under the hood changes to his Q, like in terms of the bugs or anything like that. Um, I do know that there's one here. Maybe I don't know if they checked my post. They didn't change that. That one's still in the game. Oh, hang on one sec. Okay, that was interesting. No, it didn't. Okay, I don't know if they made this more forgiving going over walls or not. Huh. I don't know. I don't think they made any range changes or anything like that with this Q. Um, as for GA, if we hang on, actually, there's a really easy way for me to show this. Let me just get over here. So let's say we're at 6 and we get 5-man ganked in top like usual. We're like, holy shit, we'll die. Like we need our passive up. We're gonna die, you know, whatever. So we press R and we get 4 stacks and then we get our passive. So it literally is just another GA. It's the same animation. Maybe they're using it as a placeholder. I kind of hope they don't leave that on there because that just tells everyone that you can revive. And the passive falls off really quickly. But you can maintain it forever though. Like it falls off fast, but it's a persistent thing. Do epic monsters regenerate it? No, they don't. So epic monsters do not maintain your passive. So doing Baron will take longer. Like before you could have used your passive, you know, to fight objectives like that. Now, I don't think the early dragon is gonna be possible. Like the 1v1 dragon at like level 2 or like level 4 or whatever it was. That's not gonna be possible because you don't have that extra attack speed consistently, and it's gonna take you longer to kill objectives. So I mean, sure they buffed his Q and his E, but they really hurt his auto attacking like a lot. I don't know if any of these ranges are different here. I don't think so. They might have made his Q a little bit wider, but I feel like it's whatever. I don't know what you're supposed to do with Aatrox. No. Let me kind of fake an early lane really quickly. Okay, I have no idea what these pages are. No. You don't even get that. You actually have less attack speed. You actually have less attack speed than you had before. I'm pretty sure that it started at 30% at level 1. So your passive actually gives you less attack speed at level 1 when it procs. I'm really struggling to see this as a buff. I mean, these are the runes that I run right now, and they've done pretty well for me in top. Oh no, hang on. The slow duration on his E is really good. It's just, I mean, the slow amount is really good on his E, but I feel like anything above like 40% isn't really that much better. It'll be stronger against Hecarim. You'll be stronger against Hecarim because you'll be able to slow him harder. That's about it though. I don't know, I need something generic. Shen. I'm getting the feel, yeah, that this is probably more of a nerf than an improvement. Like in terms of using his W, it's a nerf. His Q and E are definitely buffed though. But I don't think the buffs are going in the right direction. I feel like the buffs need to be cooldown buffs. It needs to be cooldown changes on his Q, and possibly slightly on his E. And then just like the quality of life stuff on his Q needs to happen as well. But I guess it's just not out yet. And they removed his, yeah. His scaling is pretty much, it's like more front loaded now than consistent. It's just packed on his Q. The W damage is a really big hit. Like huge. Because before it was 100% bonus 80, so you get doubled on efficiency from from like fervor and stuff like that. I don't really know if that's worth, if losing damage like that is worth healing more. I mean, I think Reckless Abandon might have responded to me. Not sure. Nope, he hasn't responded to me.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
I mean, his W. I feel like the cost wasn't even that much. Like 200. I mean, it's 200 to 150. 100% bonus 80 to 75% bonus 80. You lose 25% bonus 80 on that trade, and then 50-80 on top of that. I don't know where this guy will be. I think he'll be in bot lane, because that's how bots work. I'll try like an early duel and see what happens with this W at least. So let's say you get into lane, you want to get your Blood Bowl up really quickly so you can get this early duel going. It takes forever. Uh, 102 damage. Pretty sure it was dealing with 130 before. Yeah, this damage is a lot lower. Hang on. You just try hitting him with an E, see if it does anymore. To like 12-second cooldown and 16-second cooldown, like they can't put emphasis into using his abilities for damage and then have them have ridiculously long cooldowns. This is dealing 65 now. So you're gonna need armor pen. Like if you want to hit squishies for anything, you'll need some pen, because your damage is really front loaded now. But I wanted to get like level 2 advantage and all in this guy. It's like a 300 damage burst now. Q definitely has a lot more damage on it, so it's 110. That's 110 at level 1. It feels kind of... I can't say much about it because of the lag, but it feels awkward not having the attack speed anymore. I think this change they made on his Q really makes it a 1-point wonder, but at the same time the cooldown is still ridiculously long. So it still has the same problem as before, as I said. Like 16 to 12 seconds just is not enough. And bear in mind, Camille's E has like, it goes from like 16 to 10. Let's see this E damage. He has a Doran shield. That's pretty much same E damage as before. It's not much different. If you're running lethality, it might be a little bit more as well. Some fair poke. 150 plus 12. Yeah, the E chunking is. I think the E chunking is nice. It's gonna scale better, but at the same time, passive is nerfed and W is nerfed, so your combat is nerfed overall. My health is looking really high as a side note, but that's probably just because of my scaling HP. I mean, even that's the thing. Like CDR is like you love CDR because your cooldowns are ridiculously long. Best Aatrox, it does not seem as strong as before. It's not gutted, but like it's not nearly as. Like his Q and E changes are really good, but his W changes, like they took away the scaling heal, and the attack speed he got from early is pretty much gone because his passive doesn't give him enough, and yeah. So this guy's fighting me. I'm Aatrox. He's fighting me. I'm all-inning him. He stopped attacking me, but he probably would have killed me if he kept attacking me properly. I don't know about that one. I mean, they wanted him to have windows, but like, this is such a small window. Is this even 4 seconds? Hang on. Does this even last 4 seconds? One, 2, 3. So it's roughly 4 seconds, yeah. It's just so fast. And the cooldowns are still just too long. Yeah, lethality. That's pretty much it. Like the E change at least makes lethality a lot better on him. But I think DPS Aatrox will be worse overall. I don't think they need to double the passive values. They just need to give it its scaling back with AD. Like they can't just have the scale off of missing health. It's so bad. Like this is an ability. This is an ability that you wouldn't normally like before. I could leave this at level 1 because it would scale so well. Now, like it's like without it scaling, it's just bad. And I think large monsters or epic monsters should maintain his should keep his blood rush going like how champions do, because turrets do it. Turrets maintain his blood rush, but epic monsters don't. At least um, Herald didn't. Like if we tried Drake, They also need to make his stacks last longer too, because the stacks fall off after like 3 seconds or something. I think. Hmm. Yeah, see, I'm losing blood well. So while you're in combat, the stacks stay on. It's so weird. They increase his base attack speed, or are you thinking about like it as a concept? They should. They just need to. This blood well is just. It's just not as good. Like, yeah, my proposed changes to this blood well, right, would be that it scales instead of base attack damage, it scales with total AD. Um, and either they change this to movement speed, or they up the attack speed because it's so lackluster right now. Like this would barely change. This is 4 seconds long. This would change nothing in top lane. If someone saw you about to prot this in top lane, they would just walk away from you. Like it's I don't know what they want from this because they didn't give him any more mobility. They didn't change ult at all. They left it entirely the same. They said that his ult still worked perfectly fine with his kit. So his ult still has an AP scaling for no reason. Let's um let's say I'm playing crit Aatrox, right? And I'm recalling to pick up my BS sword after farming for a little while. Now normally I'd be able to like just one shot someone after this. Um I don't know, let's grab those. So normally this Shen wouldn't really stand a chance because he has no armor. So like the damage is still there from your R. Like I don't think much all-in damage will change. Like a little bit more from your Q, but like level 6, not much is different. The only thing that's different is really like you're losing damage on your W. I don't know. All they did was, I mean, they gave his E like 10% more scaling, but that's not that much anyways. Like you didn't really use E for killing people, you just used it for poking or for utility. So them upping the ratio on that doesn't really change much. In fact, this might actually, given the prevalence of Tabby's users, this might actually make his E deal less damage because people will be picking up Tabby's at early levels against him. So, I mean, it'll make his all-in damage higher against low armor targets, but it loses him a hybrid damage source. So, but I mean, at the same time, it does scale with LDR now, so his E can do more damage, like technically. But they really did they skipped over everything that was important. No cooldown buffs, no base stat buffs, and yeah, they kind of like his passive was what made was what gave him the ability to build damage, and his W, and it's gone now. So I mean I don't really know. I don't even know, like tank trucks. I don't even know if that will work because I you can't maintain his passive in lane. I don't think unless you have maybe if you have like a certain amount of attack speed, you can keep refilling it or something against creeps so that it never runs out. Let's say I have like berserkers and I grab some attack speed. Like I'm going for Triforce, or I have a Triforce actually. Wait, they didn't even make his abilities extended duration by refilling the pool. So if your thing if your passive is ticking down, you can't just use E to keep it up for like an extra second or something. So like before you would, I mean like, it also depletes so fast, like compared to the old one, that you just can't keep it up. It's a nerf. Like you can't build this. This is an auto attack based champion. You can't have an auto attack based champion and then remove an auto attack steroid from them and not make it good. Like when you change it. Uh, I think maybe the damage reduction is on W's. They're thinking, oh yeah, he's not taking any damage himself now, so why should he do more? Like at the same time, there was something to be played around. And like I personally, like I said this already, I got used to playing with Tel'Thas. Like I would walk around the map with like 80% health all the time. And I found that perfectly workable. So like I hit like D3 with it. At early levels, the revive I think is a bit better, like a little bit better. But at later levels for Aatrox that isn't building health, it's so much worse. Like it's like if you know how that I already mentioned this, like the GA passive where it chooses between like 750 health and 30% of your total health, 30% of like your max HP. Like it should at least have that. Like it should at least have his old passive, and then if his old passive, like if the 1,000 health wasn't more than that 30%, it would choose the 30% instead. Um, because as it stands, like that's just worse than GA. Like his passive is a revive. It should be a legitimate revive. They could remove the revive and make the buff crazy, but like even with the revive, this buff is still like less than half of the strength it should be. Like it's severely undertuned. There's no like the power spike it provides isn't enough. Like you could just play Aurelia and then have like true damage, like instead of having that base damage thing. And it's also like it probably lasts longer, and it also works on your Q and whatever. Like the only I mean this base damage it does factor into his Q as well, but I don't know if it really will provide much of a difference over having like his W, what it was before. And he does need constant AS. It's like how Tryndamere gets AD and crit. Like Aatrox's thing is kind of like he gets AS but no AD for free. If they made his, I mean, I see total AD. Like if his ult was total AD, 100% total AD, he would be dealing easily 700 damage with his ultimate in AOE physical, and you could use that with the Hydra and lethality and just literally kill the whole team. Like, you, if they changed his ult, it would probably have to be like they'd probably just make it bonus AD. I mean, at the same time, like if you think about it, right? Like Aatrox, like Riven does the same thing where she just jumps on people and just has like a bunch of bonus AD, like a bunch of AD skillings that all just stack on each other. Like Aatrox, he only has like he has four now. He had four. He has three right now, and I'm pretty sure that even Riven gets more AD skillings on her passive and stuff like that, and her shield, and they're higher. I think her shield scaling is like 100%. And then she has like an AD modifier as well on her ult, which gives even more AD, so the scalings increase even more. Um, this might not be the best champion to compare Aatrox to. One that's actually favored by Riot, apparently. I'm gonna have a hobnob. Sorry if you hear any crinkling. I'll mute my mic actually. So overall, from what I've experienced right now, um, the Q is definitely buffed. His E is definitely buffed, but they haven't gone in the right directions with them. Like the damage is nice or whatever. Like them changing it to physical is cool. It's modern, but the cooldowns are still too long for it to make him actually good. Um, like compared to compared to other mobile top laners and that sort of thing, and other champions. Um, hopefully they release those bug fixes that I mentioned as well. Um, on the flip side of that, they haven't changed his ultimate. Like his ultimate has really good damage, or like already, like really good base damage. Um, so, I mean, they probably if they sort out his passive and his W, they can probably leave his ultimate alone still. Um, moving on, his passive has been hit really, really hard, and the scalings don't make sense. Um, they claimed that they wanted to give him windows of power, but they've essentially just nerfed his laning presence because his passive is no longer permanently up. The passive doesn't scale as hard as it should. It starts really low as well. So it doesn't scale as hard because of the base AD. Maybe they could make his passive like Varus's passive, where it scales off of the AD that the attack speed and AD that you like the attack speed that you buy. I think that might balance it. They make it so that the attack speed that you get scales into his passive. I mean Emax, yeah. I mean nothing's really honestly like nothing with the Z has really changed. Like they changed the slow, but that's not really that's not really what Aatrox focuses on with the Z. It's a nice thing to have on it, and it's good for utility, but the damage is pretty much the same unless you're talking about lethality situations. When in situations with lethality, his E will actually chunk carries like for like 300 or like 400 HP or something, or 350. It's a decent tool now, but I would say that its usage hasn't been bolstered whatsoever. It's still going to be used the same way. It's still going to be used in the same situation. So while they've modernized it by making it AD, it's not really a buff. It's just modernization. Cooldown's still too high at level 1 to make his early, to like have it to allow for the trade-off of losing scaling and like utility, like scaling damage on his W. Yeah. I think they need to. I think they're going in the right direction by changing, like, I want to say that them changing health cost is good, but it doesn't really make a difference. Like, it's kind of like they've changed something which didn't matter, and then they've taken things away because they changed it. Like they kind of, it's like they kind of, it's like it's almost a buff, but it's not really because it didn't really make a difference to begin with. So now that they've taken away power from other places, it's just a nerf. It's not 15% of health. It's not really that big of a deal. Like 15% of your max health, well, current health, sorry. Like you still have essentially no costs because you're constantly life stealing. So yeah, his problems definitely are around mobility. Movement speed on his ult could be good, but it would be broken if he got it for free. He would have to get it on like an assist or kill or something. Like if he got like cleansed, if he got cleansed with a little movement speed boost, maybe not hard CC cleanse, but like slow cleanse with movement speed boost, like Storm Raiders, so he doesn't actually have to take Storm Raiders. That way he can still run Fervor or Warlords. Then it could be pretty good. Or he could take Storm Raiders and be even crazier, and it could also stack with Cleaver.
Sow the seeds of strife.
Movement speed on Price could be interesting, but I mean that's just adding stuff. Like they don't want to rework his whole kit, which is why they're just trying these. But I feel like sorry. I feel like compared to other kits that they've made, they haven't gone in the overall right direction with this. Like, Shen's ulting the dummy, that's hilarious. That's interesting. I think it only took like 10% lifesteal to even out blood price damage. And from I don't think his blood price. I don't think you can lifesteal off of it still. Like Aatrox's blood price is specifically built so that you can't use lifesteal with it. Oh, I barely got my health off before I died there. That's pretty lucky. Oh wait. Oh, that's interesting actually. You can, if you revive, you still have, because your revive is 3 seconds long. If you're right next to someone, you will maintain the attack speed, which is interesting actually. So they've essentially given us the ability to maintain our passive attack speed at the cost of our passive strength, like in the early levels. But I think this this bar here being red is deceptive, because every Aatrox player who's played Aatrox before and mained him will think they have their revive. Like, this is what tells you an Aatrox has his revive. So they need to make this, they need to take away the GA visual that they put on that, and they need to stick with this bar thing. Like, they need to make this bar thing more clear, or they need to just... Oh, this W buff get cancelled after revive. I actually need to check that. I wonder if they would have gotten that one. That's an interesting one. I'll try that right now, actually. Well, right now, I say that, I mean, in 80 seconds. Let me, will this, no? Okay. Oh, are we losing the game to this Shen? Hey, wait. Huh? I forgot about the Shen.
Your inhibitor has been destroyed.
I don't get, like, it's weird. If you could maintain stacks, if you could maintain your passive just by using your abilities and like proccing W without having to hit champions, I think it would be okay. But having to hit champions just makes it weird. So let's test this. Do I lose Do I lose? Do I lose my W? I can't speak. Do I lose my W on revive? Let's test. I do. So they haven't changed that yet. Still a bug. I don't think they've shipped any bug fixes yet. I'm willing to believe that. So I'm pretty sure everything that's wrong is still there. There's actually a spot in here where if you Q from it, your animation will go weird. But I'm not sure exactly where it is. Oh, there we go. Right there. The auto attack and passive is most likely not fixed. Oh, I lost the game. No! Shem beat me! No! How can he beat my Aatrox? It must be these nerfs. They're too strong. Man, I think Riot's gonna have to get on that one. Lickety split if Shenbot can beat me. That's either that or Shen needs a nerf, like he's way too strong. It didn't change any of his lore. So we have the old values here. Oh, never mind. These are still the new values. Never mind. I just saw the 75% and I thought it was the old one. I don't know how you can feed PvE feedback, honestly. And I don't know how I would describe this if I were complaining about it. Because, like, the only way I can describe this is that they've modernized some of his scalings, but in taking away costs, like taking away the costs that he has right now, don't justify how weak he is. Like his costs weren't really big of a deal, honestly, before. They weren't that huge. Like 10%. I mean, 10% of your current HP it's big when you're at 100% health. But then when you're at half health, that's 5% of your current HP. Like it's a scaling cost, and I think the scaling cost is, it was pretty good. What maybe they could do is have his Q, like if they lower the cooldown of his Q, they could put back on the cost and have it refresh, like have it give you your health back like Mundo Cleaver if you like knock someone up or something. So like if you knock multiple people up, you can get like a legit like percent, heal back. If you knock up like 3 people, you'd get like 20% of your health or something, like instantly. Which could make him interesting in team fights, because, yeah, like after you revive, you could just jump on someone and get like a nice chunk. Well, yeah, you're right. Early, you couldn't really like early. Like how Blood Price was is that it rewarded really short trades or one-sided all-ins on your part. Blood Price, the cost early, like that's what it did. It made him able to actually snowball because it had high damage. It was essentially like a 200% crit at level 1. It's really actually pretty strong. Um, if they kind of like threw an attack speed buff on his Q when you landed on a target, when you knocked up a target or something, that could be pretty cool. I'm just kind of like tossing ideas out there. I don't really know where they want to go with this, and I hope this isn't set in stone somewhat, because I would if this is their plan, that this is like their final plan, which I doubt it is, obviously. They don't need to make the impact radius larger. Like if you land your E on someone, you can't miss Q unless they blink it. They can. There's no way you can miss Q. It's actually really easy. I gotta toggle the main spawn. You're right. Yeah. If they aren't willing to like, I mean, I'm an advocate of crit Aatrox and DPS Aatrox. I believe that this champion is a DPS champion. He's built to deal damage, not to tank damage, because he has no defensive steroids. So they can't just throw percent healing on him because that makes that makes people think that he's supposed to build percentage, like he's supposed to build health so that his percent costs go up, like his percent healing is increased. When that's not what he's built for. He gets attack speed buffs. He scales with AD. You know, he's a DPS champion. He's not a tank. Like I'd rather they just didn't go through with it. I'd rather they just didn't go through with it if this was their final plan. QE change, yes please, but nothing else. Nothing else. No thank you. I mean, on Aatrox jungle, I think if you actually his base damage on his Q is super low. Like if you're taking him jungle now, you'd probably just go like full AD. Like I don't, because his Q has a really high scaling now. 110% total AD is quite a lot. Um, like you could probably just go like AD with like a Tiamat and stuff and kill things. I guess if you land Q. I don't know. I don't really. I thought that they would try and introduce some synergy into his kit. Um, like more than just EQ. Maybe they're saving that for like a fully fledged rework or something. I don't know if maybe they're staying away from giving him a movement speed boost because combined with his ultimate's attack speed, it could be really strong if he just gets AD first. I don't know. Either that or they're just not sure. I need more feedback on this. Isn't no, his kit isn't healthier. They barely changed anything, and they made it a lot more constrained. Like the passive attack speed that you got from before is severely limited unless you're like constantly in combat. He doesn't have scaling on his W for healing, so you can't and the scaling is down on his W, so it's a lot harder to snowball. They've moved his scaling from his W like over to his Q, and his Q is his least reliable and highest cooldown basic ability. So if you think about it, it's a really bad change. They've made his damage a lot more unreliable and a lot lower in terms of DPS. They shifted it for some upfront burst on his Q, and that's about it. And the passive doesn't like right now. Like Vigor's saying it in the chat, his passive doesn't work in the jungle. Like he loses 30% attack speed at level 1 now. So his jungle route effectively, I assume, would slow down by 30%. So that heavily impacts his jungle capabilities. He can't solo dragon anymore early. Objectives become harder. That sort of stuff. And you can't actually like maybe if you could hold on to the stacks like I mentioned earlier, you could like take the stacks into a lane and gank and you'd be stronger. But the stacks fall off after like 3 seconds. So you can not it's like Gnar. It's like a really bad Gnar. Aatrox support is never gonna be a thing. You you definitely imagine that one. You, You, you might have you might have been dosed with something when you thought of that one, dude. Like Aatrox support is not that's like assuming that Fiora would become a support after their rework on her. Never, never, never. It's not. Um, the closest thing to that could ever happen is that they give him Old Silence ultimate, which could be cool as fuck, honestly. But I don't know if they'll ever do that because that would actually be strong. Like that would actually give him like a purpose in fights to activate his ult and then shred the fuck out of everyone and heal his whole team. That would be legit. That would be a legit function that he could pull off. But and that would probably satisfy some of the lore. But you know, in my opinion, they need to make his kit function. They need to make his Q, W, and E function on their own, like as a kit. It can be essentially. Then you need to be able to fight without ulting. You need to be able to fight other people without using your ult to burst them. So you need to be able to essentially tango. Like his W, he needs that 80 ratio on his W. He needs all that. Maybe they could instead of making his W immediately spike up to like triple healing, under 50%, they can make it scale with percent HP. So like the heal just increases the lower your health gets, rather than immediately at 50%. So when you're super low on health, you'll get like a massive heal. But when you're full HP, the heal is really low. So you end up like hovering like how I said earlier around like 80% HP, which is like I think is like the healthy range for Aatrox to hover around because it's just easy. Oh yeah, sorry, Birdman. I was just yeah. I've seen enough of people asking for Aatrox support on Reddit that it's like it's a thing. There's no way like Matt. I'm sure that like if we I'm sure if we there's no way that anyone who plays Aatrox will ever accept this. Like it's even I mean even a pro like would look at this and be like and compare it to the base to like the normal thing and be like this isn't as good. Like even though Aatrox is seen as weak or whatever, like this is definitely not the end for this rework. I hope that they have other ideas and like I hope they explore other things during the PvE cycle. It's nice to know that they're putting effort into like actually changing him and I hope that they continue. But at the same time this can't be the end. Like this can't where they're pushing his direction, he can't do that. So I wouldn't be too worried about it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, his E becoming physical damage, it does hurt. Like, people who want to stack armor against him, it hurts him early. But it will give him more damage when he gets armor pen. Like, if there was some like huge end game sort of like, you've reached late game as Aatrox, you're now a god sort of thing. It would be, I would think it would be okay, but it's just not. And yeah, I mean, if tanks do build tank into you, like, you'll out heal them late game. I don't know if you can do that with this new Aatrox because you don't have bonus AD heal. You just have a base heal and percent missing HP. So you need to rely on lifesteal. That's also one of the reasons I found crit Aatrox so strong, because versus tanks, you don't need to rely on lifesteal. You have like a huge just heal that happens when you auto attack. It's not based off of how much damage you deal. So no matter how much armor they have, you still heal for like a 300 health heal or whatever. Um, if it's still not. I mean, it's not based off of that now, but you do lose the bonus scaling. So I don't know. Like, I'll just kind of. I don't know, like, what? Maybe I can just put on some footage or something. I'll, like, this is the sort of thing that I do in Aatrox. And I don't know if that was a bad play. But yeah, like, I don't know. I don't know, like, how it compares. You don't get that attack speed all the time. I don't know. I'm gonna, so I just wanna, like, I just wanna get this documented here. So, Q, P, Q, oh, P, Q, W, E, and R. So it's passive, nerfed. It's not as strong, strong as before at any point. Needs total AD scaling instead of base AD. Needs total AD percent scaling, not percent scaling. This can increase with level. Maybe balance it a bit. The attack speed buff, AS buff needs upping. Falls off too quickly. Whatchamacallit? Epic monsters and jungle and large jungle camps need to whatchamacallit? Maintain blood rush. What else? Blood rush. Blood wall stacks need to not fall off as fast. Wait, do I already have that? Blood rush falls off too quickly. So you can get rid of them. The revive needs a flat and percent scaling that chooses between the highest value. I'll Guardian Angel. Is there anything else wrong with that? That's about it. Q, good changes overall. Good damage. Cooldown still too long at all ranks. At later ranks. W nerfed. Blood price damage too low. Blood thirst needs its 80 scaling to be good. Maybe the scaling could scale with rank for balance. His E, good changes. Good change. Oops. Change not much different damage wise. Cooldown still too long. At early ranks. Slow change. Very low impact. Negligible. R. I mean, it's just as R. Like they can change that to physical damage, but I mean, nothing new changes yet. So I don't know. Am I missing anything? He's also forced to buy an armor pen item while his Q isn't easy to dodge. If you're slowed, you literally can't dodge it. It's not possible. The only way you can dodge is with a blink. Like if Aatrox tags you with his E, which is not exactly the hardest thing in the world, your attack speed, sorry, your movement speed will be so low that you cannot physically dodge it. So I wouldn't really call that a valid one that you can mention. His Q, I think, cost removal does not warrant lack of damage. Skilling. Oh, hang on. This is just for all. This is for his E. This is for all abilities, I think. Overall Cost removal does not warrant the lack of damage scaling in his other abilities. The costs were not high impact on his playstyle to begin with, and so losing strength as a trade-off hurts him more. This formatting is really bad. Whew. I mean, that's about it, I think. Like, in terms of what they've reworked. So yeah. I don't really know if there's anything else for me to mention in terms of these changes. I don't really know if there's anything else for me to mention. I was so hyped up for so many changes, and yeah. Let me reformat this so it looks so it's a bit better to look at, but easier to read. He was OP before. Yeah, Aatrox is too strong. Needs nerfing. We're just abusing the broken champion in the game. Alright, let me see if this changes anything. Oh, this looks really bad. Oof. Uh Maybe I can use a sticky note or something? Nah. That's not gonna work. This does this not work? Wow, you can't actually. That's so lame. Okay, well, I reformatted it, but like it doesn't. The Word doesn't allow that, sadly. So well, I don't know. I doubt this is the last we'll see of these changes, but I can't really call it the most promising so far. The changes aren't good. They aren't good. Like, I don't get why this guy on our subreddit I used to maintain was telling people these are good changes. They're not. Like, they're just not. Like, they straight up aren't. Like, they're ambitious. They show promise. Like, but they don't seem. It doesn't seem like this is fleshed out at all so far. Like, I couldn't call. The only good changes there are to his Q and or to his Q actually, because each change really isn't that much difference. You asking me? Yeah, I mean, yeah. Before you could potentially kill Riven. Now, I mean, Riven's stats are literally better in every way. Hmm. Fiora would actually just ruin you. I mean, I don't know if is it worth me showing any more of this gameplay. Like, I'm pretty sure that I feel like we've gotten the gist by now. Of how this has gone. The day has come. There's a lot of that's a lot of hype for nothing though. Like, they, like I'm not salty. Like I like my Aatrox how he is still, but like they spent so long. Yeah, like they spent so long not touching him. They didn't like he has a really low, like his base stats aren't. I mean, he has skirmisher base stats, so like Fiora has like really similar base stats and that sort of stuff. But he doesn't have the mobility like to back it up. So he's still weaker than skirmishers unless he one shots them like how I play him. Like, and that's why the only thing that's kept him viable to me, the only thing that kept him viable for a really long time for me is when they released Storm Raiders because I could actually reliably proc it and chase people down. So didn't actually have to rely on my Q. Like I could just hit someone with I could just crit someone once and I would have the Storm Raiders boost. So it should say something. Like if Storm Raiders is fixing Aatrox, maybe they should give him a little bit of a movement speed boost somewhere and see what happens. Either that, or they need to lower his Q cooldown. Some people might say, "Oh, it's a mini Malphite ult," but it really isn't. It really isn't close. Malphite's ultimate scale, like the movement speed of his ultimate scales with movement speed. So it like if he ults you at close range, it will hit you almost immediately. Um, and you have to be ready to flash Malphite's ultimate. With Aatrox's Q, it's just slow enough that you can, it's like it's like 0.6 of a second long. So if you're competent, you can actually just flash it. But if you're slowed, you'll get hit by it. It's like a guaranteed thing. Um, and it's just like the damage isn't super high. Now it is. Now the damage is high. But like the damage wasn't super high before. Um, I mean, I feel like they've taken more from us than they've given us. Like the major buff right now is to his Q, which is cool. But his Q isn't what you use to kill people. What you use to kill people are auto attacks and W procs, and you know, not your 16-second cooldown dash that your only dash. 12-second cooldown. Uh, hmm. It's just anticlimactic. Climactic. That's the thing, like on Aatrox, I think what his focus should be is that he shouldn't have to build lifesteal to be able to regenerate. Which is why you don't see me pick up lifesteal for a very long. Like lifesteal is still really strong on him. It stacks really well with W, but like he should be able to make it through like half the game without actually getting lifesteal. You know what I mean? Like it should be something that, oh, this is a boon of my kit. I get some regeneration, which is really cool. That means I don't have to go back as much. That means that. So if they're nerfing his regeneration on his W, you kind of lose a boon of the kit, and you don't get anything for it. That's like most people just try and stack lifesteal on him, and stacking lifesteal isn't necessarily bad, but it kind of like stacks upon what you're already given for free. So it's kind of a waste of stats when it reaches above a certain amount. Like more than one lifesteal item, I'd say is too much. You need to make his W. Actually, they didn't even change that. I'm pretty sure his W still doesn't work with lifesteal. So you just get bonus on hit that only deals damage. And I don't think they made his W total AD either. So the base AD he gets from his passive won't actually factor into his W, which like when you look at the more fine things like that, it kind of seems like half done so far. Like I'm hoping that this is like the skeleton of what they've decided. I really am. And that's about it. I don't think there's much more I can say. Ooh, they're nerfing Rise on the PvE. And they have Talon nerfs on the PvE too. Sick. Technical Aatrox buffs, also Quinn nerfs as well. Once again, technical Aatrox buffs. Well, I don't know. Does anyone have any questions or anything like that? Any opinions they want to share, anything like that? Okay. Orihel Canaloy, I would like to know how you think that these are like that this as an overall is a buff. Like I'm genuinely curious. I need like it just gone. Camera, as far as I can tell, this does make Jungle Aatrox worse. Yes. Camera. Yeah. I mean, the chunk, like the whole chunking yourself part, I can't really call that a valid can't really call it a valid argument because it like the chunk didn't really matter anyways. It ruins crit rocks pretty much, in my opinion. Um, like your damage is just down the drain. Like it's not completely gone, but with the AD scaling on his W gone, crit Aatrox no longer has any sustain. Like it no longer has any snowbally sustain. And with crit Aatrox, you often find yourself auto attacking the enemy with your W on, and then critting them and dealing damage while healing from W. So like when you build crit, you essentially hit for like a blood price proc while healing from W. In my opinion, Irelia is not. Like Irelia isn't a skirmisher in my opinion. Like she's like a skirmisher bruiser. She's like she's weird. She has damage like an assassin, but and mobility like a skirmisher, but she's tanky enough with her ultimate, and like her hard CC is strong enough to make her kind of like a tank, like kind of like a juggernautish sort of thing, like a mobile juggernaut. Like she'll shred you and she'll destroy you, but she's also mobile, and she also has survivability and regeneration. It's like a really hopped up Aatrox, where his W does true damage instead, and his Q resets and doesn't knock up. That's like pretty much what it really is. And his ult does physical. His ult, instead of her ult having 4 charges, it just hits all at once. That's such a stupid way to describe it. E is actually really easy to hit. Within a certain range, it's very easy to hit. So I like his Q being hard to hit isn't a valid argument, and his neither is his E. Really, like his E, you just kind of get used to landing it. Sure, it's dodgeable if they have mobility, but then what isn't if it's a skill shot? Hopefully, they're looking at more options internally. Potentially, facade. Like I feel like they could honestly just use the old passive and just have like just have just use the old passive and then just have it like and just have his ult like increase like have his either have his old passive start at a lower amount and then scale with attack speed that you buy, or have his ult scale with attack speed that you buy. Like so that his abilities are just more centered around that. I don't know. He has 345 base. 345. Yeah, 345. Aatrox is dead. And also you could build Black Cleaver before. I already used that. It's a pretty good build still. Like he doesn't need changing to be viable with Cleaver or any other items. Like the E changes really haven't changed anything at all. Like in the early game is what he needs changes for, not his late game. And right now they kind of just like they haven't improved his late game while kind of messing with his early game. Yeah, more damage on Q is definitely the worst. It's not the worst way. Like he should have already had this damage. This is a I wouldn't even call this a buff. Like the changes to his E and his Q are actually just modernization. Real buffs would be cooldown buffs because the cooldowns are too long. I mean, you say you think his late game is the weaker part, but his I mean these changes nerf his early game. So I don't get how that works for you. Like his W is his strongest ability early game and they've nerfed it. Like they've nerfed it super hard. It's half as strong as it used to be. His scaling is directly tied to his W, and they've nerfed both scalings. They haven't improved his late game. Nothing's better. How have they improved? Like, just tell me. Like, don't just say they've improved it. Say how they've improved it, because they haven't. Even the percent health, like it's not enough. Aatrox should never be being built tank. He's not a tank. He's actually a skirmisher. He's built to do damage. So if you're building tank on Aatrox, you're doing something wrong. You can have like one or two tank items so that you don't insta die, but he's not a tank in any regard at all. He should never be built full tank. He does work with like if you go like health build with like Sterax and Titanic Hydra and Mallet and that sort of thing, that's a safe build that does work. It functions. And it has its places where it works. You see, you don't build full tank because you're not a tank. Like you're not supposed to take damage from the entire enemy team. It's just like how Yasuo or Fiora do not take damage from the entire enemy team. So you just have to be careful about how you engage and when you engage and who you engage on. He can never function as a tank. If they try and make his W scale with health and stuff like that, and like max health, he'll go into a team fight, get CC'd, and die because his bulk is tied to his W, which is tied to his auto attacks, which is tied to his attack speed, and which should be tied to his AD. So if you don't build AD and you don't build attack speed and you're getting CC'd, you won't heal for anything, so you won't survive anything. And he doesn't have any defensive steroids, so he can't sponge any damage. So if you build damage, if you build crit, you can kill someone. You can 1v1 anyone. You have the Edge of Night. You can pretty much 3-shot any squishy, and you can fight any tank. Because if people build tank into you, your W still heals you regardless of how much damage you deal. So they can never kill you. Which is the point of which is honestly what I think you should be going for when you play Aatrox. He's a forever fighter. He's killed by burst, not by low consistent low damage. So if you can one shot him, you'll one shot him. Because he has nothing to stop you from one shotting him. And that's why that's why he needs his passive. So he can make these risky plays where he goes in for the kill and then he gets blown back into his passive and comes back. You know what I mean? Maybe an interesting mechanic I just thought of is that they could base his passive's healing off of the amount of damage he just dealt. But then that would encourage him building damage, which I mean he should be. He should be DPSing all the time. So if these changes go through, the champion will be actually useless. Like this is like now people think like pros say he's bad. He will actually become a minion with this. Like all you'll see Aatrox do is build full lethality and try and land killing people because that's all he can do. Ginsu is interesting with the newer gen, and I think it could be strong. Um, but building Ginsu is hard in top lane. So yeah, and also to get the maximum efficiency out of Ginsu with this percent HP, healing, you'd have to have health. And if you have health, you like it's a dilemma because if you build health and if you don't build damage, you won't kill anyone. So if you don't kill anyone, like why are you playing Aatrox? Like it doesn't make any sense. You can't have this champion which is literally an auto type based champion who wants to kill people and then tell people to build tank on him. Because you will do literally no damage. Even if you just get a Ginsu, you'll do no damage. And you'll just sit there and you only affect one person on the enemy team with your auto attacks. So why like there would be no reason to pick Aatrox. You may as well just pick Maokai or something. Like this Aatrox can't tank. It's not something he should be doing. He can take hits. He can take hits as long as he kills him. As he can take hits as long as it doesn't kill him. But he can't full on bear the brunt of like an entire team like Maokai can. Like a real tank can. Like you mentioned New Warwick. New Warwick can do what I just said because of his E. Because of his 50% damage reduction. That's the kind of thing that tanks have. That huge steroid. Aatrox does not have that. He has a GA built in. That's all. And some sometimes healing. Like good healing, high healing, if you have enough attack speed. And really actually very strong healing. Um, and it's that strong at a trade-off of it requiring all these stats to be so good. And that's why I say like Aatrox he scales into late game really, really hard. Like he can do an insane amount of damage, and he can heal for an insane amount, but it takes having AD, takes having attack speed, and takes having a little bit of defensive stats. So like a Tabby or something. It'll hit dead man so you didn't get one shot. Yeah, his W is nowhere near as strong. Not even close. Not even close. I mean, I was considering Sterak's before this, like with Riven being meta, kind of now with lethality. I was looking at the Sterak's and it does well. Oh yeah, I'm seeing now in the Discord someone's playing him, and if the worst part about this passive probably is that since you get if you ever get zoned off of anything in top, which happens if you fall behind, if you get cheesed, you can get zoned off of creeps. Your passive, your revive is entirely linked to being able to get near creeps. Like, well, I mean, if you want to get it in a timely manner, which includes like using W, because you can only get 2 stacks without your ultimate and without like W procs. So your passive is no longer like a failsafe in lane without this you know, and you can't really choose when it happens either. If you're constantly auto attacking in lane, it just happens. It's like it's uncontrollable, like Nars. Like at least before you could choose. Oh yeah, if I'm gonna go in right now, I'll kill that guy, and I'll get blown up, but I'll use my passive for that. It's like a trade. Like I mean, that's how I use it. I use it to trade my passive for a kill, like an important kill, so I can survive and then go and take advantage of the kill happening. You know. Like I swear the only benefit, the only real difference between this Aatrox and the past one that might really make a difference is the fact that his passive persists after he revives. But even then, it only lasts for like a second after you've actually revived. So if you're not in range to auto attack someone, it will still fall off. You'll still lose your passive. The person has to be sitting there waiting. Like I mentioned earlier, to the guys in the Discord that Fervor actually like the reason why Fervor is one of the strongest masteries on Aatrox is because the AD buff persists during his passive and lasts a very long time after. Like Fervor lasts 8 seconds and they just buffed it from like it lasted 6 seconds and they're just buffing it to 8. So like if you think about it, you know. Health costs. Okay. No offense, Ogun. No offense, Ogun, but you shouldn't be writing this. Yeah. What's gonna happen on the Aatrox means subreddit now is that people are gonna filter in, and it's those normal Reddit people who just don't know what Aatrox is. So they're gonna say, "Oh yeah, he's like this guy here, Green Goblin. He's a cancerous champion. He's hard to balance because of that. He's really not. He's so easy to balance. Like after playing him for this long, it's so clear what his balance is. He essentially scales like an ADC. That's his entire balance. He make like his early game is weaker, which it definitely is. His early game is not as strong as like other bruisers or skirmishers by any means. But his late game is insanely good, and actually should be better. which is why I'm always suggesting crit because he would literally become godlike like once he hits that late game fantasy. He's a late game fantasy champion. I'm gonna post on the I'm gonna I'm gonna put my observation subreddit. I'll just put this on the subreddit so that people can see it. I have it like mocked up. We see some new Aatrox action in training mode. You were already done with it when we got here. Uh, I mean, this. By the way, this VOD is recording, so you can rewatch stuff. I'll open it up one more time. But honestly, like it's so lackluster. Um, like the like we went through a lot of the stuff and we found out a lot of things about it. His his passive, like the new like that AD scaling you see on his passive doesn't scale with AD. It's just base AD, so it doesn't scale. Like he loses a bunch of his scalings. Will you just check it? Okay, yeah. You can just check it out later. All right. This VOD should be recording. Um, but yeah. Oh yeah, the notepad's over the client, but I mean like there's nothing. I'm not doing anything in the client, so it's just kind of there for people to see. Like there's nothing really in the client, so I'll move this actually. I'll put it like right here. I mean that's like yeah, I pretty much covered everything now. I think we've been over all the topics possible. Is anyone? Are there any more questions at all, or any insights anyone wants? Or has everything been answered? All right. Um. I don't know Sweet Dreams personally. I haven't added him or anything like that. Oh, you have a club I mean, just add me. I'm Coolkipper on EU West. So yeah. Yeah. I'll post that one. I mean, hopefully I formatted this. Well, I formatted this thing properly. I'm not really good at Reddit formatting. I don't know. I posted the thing on Reddit. I think I could have probably done a better job with it, but I kind of wanted to just get it out there. It's a bit late. Do you want you I mean yeah, sure. The club thing? Sure, yeah. Actually, I'm gonna log out of this PB now because there's not really any point in me being on it because it's like 200 ping and the changes aren't really that amazing. A instant feedback Pog Champ. Let's go. Hmm. What's this? Oh, did it. Holy moly, you did it. Nice. Nice job. Sure. I mean, just add me. Add me and I'll put you in. What's your summoner name? Oh yeah, I'm on EU West. Rip. Well, there was someone on there with that name, so if they accept, I mean, they'll get into the club. I can't say the same for you, but you know. I was hoping for something so juicy tonight. I was like, I was hyped. I was like, come on, Riot's got this. Guess we'll have to wait and see. Oh yeah, sure, add me. I don't know if you can actually invite me to another club because I'm in 3 right now. But it's fine. Oh, tired. How many? Is it just the? It's just like the 10 of us here. 10 of you guys. Oof. I really hope Riot can like wade through the people on Reddit who think they know what they're talking about when they actually don't. Maybe we should try and merge these two clubs or something because you say you have 36. That's quite a lot actually. Ours only has like 10. Yeah, I see. Yeah. You can join. Are you already in here? I mean, you say okay, but like, are they good? Like functionally right now, like thematically and functionally, they're just not as good. Yeah. IMO, like the glass cannon thing, I think is honestly the only way that they can balance him. Because if he becomes this tank, becomes this tank that somehow just life steal, like just not even life steal, just percent health his way back up, you know, like all the time, without having to build like AD. You know, it just happens regardless of how far ahead or behind he is. Like it's kind of that's the that's that toxic playstyle that they were talking about avoiding. So you know, hopefully he gets buffed by Friday. Yeah, hopefully. I think yeah, I think we pretty much covered everything. So I think it should be fine to end the stream. Um, Thanks for tuning in, and if they make any changes, maybe I can talk about it again. I don't know. We'll have to see. But see you for now.